Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Moors. And when I mention when I talk about the Moors, I'm not talking about the medieval Moors that ruled Spain for 700 years, from the 700s to 1492. I'm talking about, the African American movement that existed from the 1910s onward. It was founded in New Jersey by a man named Noble Drew Ali. And he claimed that African Americans were descended from Moors. Now, a little bit of historical background. African Americans, as many people know, like all Africans in the Western Hemisphere, are descended from slaves. Majority, not all. I mean, there's been proven that there have been pre-Columbian contacts from Africa, from ancient and medieval African empires. And if you want to check some of that out, check out the film Hidden Colors by Dr. Omar Johnson and Owen Akil Shahada. But the vast majority descended from slaves. And there's always been this whole identity crisis thing because many Black Americans, they don't want to identify with Africa. They don't want to identify with the indigenous cultures of Africa. They shun those cultures and stuff. So, being that they shun these cultures, they were looking for an identity, and they found it in the identity of the medieval Moors, the Moroccan Moors. And they began to propagate Islam in the United States among African Americans. Now, the first Black American movement ever as it pertains to Islam was the Ahmadiyya. The Ahmadiyya was started in India. It was founded by a man named Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, and they initially came to propagate Islam among Caucasians. But Caucasians didn't take to it. Inner city blacks that were in search of an identity took to it. And the Moors took this paradigm and took also the paradigm of the UNIA, Marcus Garvey's organization, and they copied it. And also they took from the Levi Dowling's book, the Equestrian Life of Jesus. A book that talks about Jesus' life between the years of his birth and the years of his ministry, and basically says that he went to the Eastern world, like India and Egypt, and he partook in Gnostic traditions and Buddhist traditions and all that. And that became their seven circle Koran, spelled K-O-R-N. an Old English spelling with the word Quran. And, you know, they still exist now. You see a lot of them. They often will put the words L or Bay at the end of their names. I see a lot of them on conscious groups on Facebook. I belong to a lot of conscious groups on Facebook, and I see a lot of them, and you know, they propagate their traditions. But one thing I don't like about them is they carry on this tradition of disassociating themselves from Africa and African people and African heritage. And I don't like that. I think they're spreading pseudo-history and they're propagating something that is not true. Although it is true that the Moors were of African descent, they did rule Spain and Portugal for several hundred years. It is not true that Black Americans today are descended from Moors. And you know, I might get some people in my video that they will dislike what I'm saying, but this is my opinion. This is how I feel. Based on my research that I've done into the topic of people from Morocco and people from the Maghreb, that were enslaved, was very few. It's like a minuscule number. So I don't think and I don't believe that African American people are descended from Moors. I don't care who disagrees. This is my opinion and this is what I'm sticking to. I think it's just another religious group to gain money from people. You know, similarly to the Christian Church, Orthodox Islam, Orthodox Judaism, every religion, Baha'i, all that shit. You know, peace.